Welcome to episode 2 in the Agile for Leaders series. I'm the tour guide, Dan James. In episode 1, we answered the question, why we need Agile. This episode reveals what Agile really is. And you might be surprised to learn that it is neither a framework nor a methodology. Agile is essentially an adjective describing an organization or team that complies with 4 value statements and 12 principles in the Agile Manifesto as published at agilemanifesto.org. According to the Agile Alliance, the central clearinghouse for the Agile industry, Agile is the ability to create and respond to change. It is a way of dealing with and ultimately succeeding in an uncertain and turbulent environment. It's just like doing a scientific experiment. When you face uncertainty, try something you think might work, get the feedback, observe the results, and then adjust your hypothesis accordingly. The authors of the Agile Manifesto chose Agile as the label for this whole idea because that word represented the adaptiveness and response to change, which was so important to their approach. With demand that changes faster than traditional approaches can cope with, being able to sense and respond to customer demand is our competitive advantage. Fortunately, there's an entire industry that supports Agile development and delivery of customer value, from practices and frameworks to platforms and tools, ready to make your Agile transformation as smooth as possible. So let's get started. You're looking at a screenshot of the homepage at agilemanifesto.org. Here we see the 4 values of Agile. Note that everything in these statements is important, but the authors of the manifesto clearly state, while there is value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. So the first one, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. In other words, we can be Agile without prescriptive processes and tools, but we can't do anything without you and the people who create and maintain your products and services. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Of course, documentation is important to those who need to read it. Since customers rarely read documentation, they expect the solutions you've sent them to work perfectly and be intuitive enough that comprehensive documentation is of low value to them. It might be high value to your auditors, of course. Also note that what you're delivering may not actually be software. That's okay. Agile applies to whatever your customer-facing solution happens to be. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Well, very often the agreements between leadership and teams, or between us and our customers, puts us all in handcuffs, making it very difficult to change quickly in response to the market. Involving our customers throughout the process gives us frequent feedback, allowing us to adapt to evolving needs. Agility is all about listening to our customers and finding ways to delight them, whatever it takes. Responding to change over following a plan. This doesn't mean we don't plan. In reality, mature Agile teams outplan traditional teams, and the Agile plans are more relevant. With just enough, just-in-time planning, instead of thinking we can know all the answers in advance of real-time discovery, and by obtaining customer feedback throughout development, Agile teams deliver a far better product. Fact is, all projects change, and Agile embraces that change, flexing as new information is received. So those are the Agile values. Let's take a look at the 12 principles that support them. To be Agile, your organization must follow all of them. Anything less will diminish or eliminate the benefits of agility. Principle 1, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. The key words here are satisfy the customer, early and continuous, and valuable. Again, your product may not actually be software, but the principle still applies. Whatever your solution is, the priority is customer satisfaction. Principle 2, welcome changing requirements, even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. By working iteratively and incrementally, We can change direction in response to customer feedback or changes in the market. We'll see an example of this model later. Principle 3, deliver working software frequently from a couple of weeks to a couple of months with a preference to the shorter timescale. We typically call these time boxes sprints, and the most common is 2 weeks, giving leaders 26 opportunities throughout the year to adjust their priorities in response to the market. Agile teams are trained and coached to pivot between sprints as needed. Principle 4, business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Most Agile teams at large organizations have product owners acting as proxies for the business to ensure there's a prioritized backlog or clean fuel for the teams to consume, and that someone is present to clarify requirements and handle impediments that may arise. Principle 5, build projects around motivated individuals, give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. This principle is primarily for leaders. Note that it doesn't say that you are to motivate the individuals, but your people will be self-motivated if you provide the right environment. This means they're not overworked and they have the training, skills, and tools they need to be productive. As to trust, it goes both ways. Leaders demonstrate their trust by providing clear requirements and then by staying out of the team's way during their sprints. In return, the team learns to trust leadership when they see the strategic vision they're contributing to and a prioritized backlog with the most valuable work at the top. Principle 6, the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. When this principle was published, we didn't have excellent collaboration tools for remote work. So doing Agile well required co-located teams. The principle still applies, but we can have distributed teams and still have face-to-face communication. Regardless, there's nothing better than in-person face-to-face conversations. Principle 7, working software is the primary measure of progress. Revenues are generated from quality, customer-friendly solutions. In Agile, when we say working software, it applies to any product or service that we use to deliver value to our customers. If we meet a deadline, but deliver the wrong product or a defective product, then we have not delivered it on time. Nothing in these principles says to go fast. It's all about delivering quality, which in turn helps us go fast because we're not wasting effort on rework. Principle 8, Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. If leaders are expecting their people to work late nights and weekends to keep up with demand, it is not sustainable. Agile is not about reducing headcount to become more efficient. It's about eliminating non-value add activities and busy work and always working on the most strategic and competitive things. By simply eliminating waste from our day-to-day processes, we can increase productivity and give our people back their work-life balance. Principle 9, continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Quality means building the right thing and then building it right the first time. There are many ways of doing this, but technical excellence does not mean spending weeks or months over designing everything. It means we focus on incremental slices of the big picture, ensure each increment is built right, ensure it's valuable, and ensure it has the benefit of frequent customer feedback. Principle 10, simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. This principle is the lean philosophy in one sentence. Let's always make our solutions as simple as possible. Otherwise, we complicate our customers' experience. In the process, we eliminate anything that doesn't add value. Studies show that only 20 to 30% of software is actually used by customers. The rest is potential waste. This principle isn't limited to product development. It applies to everyday work, such as attending unnecessary meetings in which no valuable decisions are made. Simplification helps an entire organization become lean, and uncomplicates everyone's lives. Principle 11, the best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. This principle does not mean that teams no longer need management. In reality, it's about letting teams self-organize about how they meet the requirements they've been given. Leaders determine the what and why. Agile teams determine the how and when. So ask yourself, do I want a bunch of order takers in my organization? Or do I want skilled thought workers who know as much or more about the solution than I do, making the day-to-day decisions and executing the requirements? The latter is what we mean when we say self-organizing teams. And finally, principle 12. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. At the team level, we call this a retrospective, and it happens every sprint. In a scaled environment, the business would also meet every quarter or so to identify major challenges and perform root cause analyses to brainstorm solutions. What we want here is continuous, relentless improvement, top to bottom in the organization. So to connect the dots, here is how the 12 principles line up to support the values we covered earlier. Agile is more than words on a website. It's not just something we do. Agile transforms our mindset, our culture, our behaviors, and our systems. But let's see those values and principles in action and see the difference they can make in the business. Let's contrast a traditional project workflow model with a common Agile workflow and see which one works better. This is the traditional or waterfall project management method. In this model, we spend some time gathering requirements, and we assume that when that phase is over, that we have all the requirements we need. We write big project documents and we analyze all this stuff. Now, assuming the requirements haven't changed, our analysis should be sound, and the design that follows should also be sound. But we don't know because we haven't tested anything. We haven't built anything. We have no customer feedback yet. So as far as we're concerned, no problems. Then we progress. Now we're building it and we integrate. And all of a sudden we start seeing problems. We're literally waiting till the end of the project before we even know we've built something of quality that the customers still want after all this time has passed. And that's been the frustration in the industry, that the customers were getting things they no longer needed, or, hey, the culture has moved on. You've given us something that's a year or a year and a half old. On the other hand, your customers want new stuff all the time. They want stuff fixed now. They're accustomed to their mobile phones receiving updates every week. Their games get updated every day, and they want your products and services to keep up and work right the first time, every time. As you can guess, the traditional project model is high risk, poor quality, especially when under a tight deadline, and hard to change midstream. So here's how Agile does it. Everything you see in the top model, in all the colored boxes, we're going to do a little bit of all those steps each sprint, building incremental value. And guess what usually happens? We typically find our biggest problems during the first couple of sprints. So the secret is to wipe out our biggest impediments early in the project and get actual customer feedback every couple of weeks. This helps us know as early as possible that we're building the right product and that we're going in the right direction for our customer, that it's technically sound, meaning it's designed properly and the quality is built in, all in iterative steps. Plus, with less defects, we reduce rework, which helps us go to market sooner. Now, you may be wondering how values and principles aimed primarily at teams and product development will move the needle for the business side of the organization. The Agile industry has made efforts to include more than software in the discipline, and that movement is labeled business agility. It makes sense that if you extend the idea of Agile as a mindset, then leaders seeking business agility would ask themselves, how might we structure and operate our organization in a way that allows us to create and respond to change and deal with uncertainty? The answer requires a recognition that in order for people in an organization to operate with an agile mindset, the entire organization needs to support that mindset. In other words, the organization must change its structure and operations to work in an uncertain environment. This is why nearly all of the companies in today's Fortune 500 have already adopted Agile or are in the process of transforming to it. As they teach us in Lean, to succeed, we must first outlearn the competition, then take our learning and out-improve the competition. Agile helps us do that, and the resulting elimination of waste shortens the distance between our strategic ideas and customer satisfaction. As always, if you have questions or need assistance with Agile coaching, training, or scaling in your organization, please contact your Agile Center of Excellence. They'll be happy to help. This is Dan James, signing off.